pausing, let me think about it, and setting boundaries sooner. We talked about the pause and the foundational importance of giving yourself time to pause so that you can interrupt your nervous system in its heightened state. For caregivers listening, can you give examples of what pausing looks like without it needing to be dramatic or confrontational, so that it's subtle and they can do it without anybody realizing?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my favorite is to say something like, let me get back to you. Just, it's a built-in pause. But I also want to say, Michelle, that learning to pause can be a long journey. I say that me learning to pause was like learning how to climb Mount Everest. And what happened, and I want to take a moment to describe what happened for me, is I learned that pausing was a thing. I was like, excellent idea. Love it. No idea how to do it. So one day I was like, oh, that situation 3 weeks ago, that would have been a good time to pause. So I saw the window closing between when I could have paused and when I realized, and I was like, oh, this is exciting. Like maybe I'm going to figure it out like a couple minutes after, and then eventually I'll be able to do it. And that's what happened. But it wasn't like I learned to pause and then I paused from then on. It was like I paused once and then I didn't pause and then I paused. And now I feel like I have a built-in pause. So just know that learning to pause isn't like you flip a light switch and you can pause. It's not like that. So what I did this boundary boot camp on January 1st, and in the middle of it, I was like, okay, here's your challenge for the month of January. And so I'm going to say to you, I'm going to challenge your caregiving listeners too. For the next month after you listen to this, I want you to do an experiment. 100% of the time, when someone asks you to do something, you get a request, I want you to automatically say, even if it's something you absolutely have the bandwidth and are excited to do, I want you to say, let me get back to you. And I want you to do that as an experiment, because there are going to be feelings that are going to come up. Even when it's something you're saying, I'm saying, let me get back to you, even to something I have the bandwidth for, I know that I want to do it. You can get back to them in 2 minutes. It's okay. But I want you to have the experience of what comes up internally for you when you say, let me get back to you. Because learning how to manage those feelings, that sense of panic that comes up, that's the task. What do I do to care for myself, to create a sense of internal safety for myself when those feelings come up? But having phrases like, let me get back to you, let me think about it, or here's another one. I can't do that, but I can do this. That's sort of a way of pausing, because you're giving them, the onus is now on them to make the decision. Because most of the time, I call that naming the terms of the engagement. When you put it back on them, chances are, if you've said, I can't do that, but I can do this, chances are they're going to take the yes from you, the thing you're saying yes to.
Yes, making sure that if it's like, I can't do it at all, but next week I can do, if that's outside my scope of whatever I can manage, but I can go and pick up the grocery run when I do my grocery run. I think that that's really important for caregivers to know, that it's okay to also voice what they can do. If they still would like to support that person, but they can't do it in the way they need right there, that it is okay to do that, and learning to be okay with not just automatically saying yes, and being able to pick up on the cues when we're having those moments where we want to say yes, but we know we just don't have the capacity, and that battle between you don't want to let them down, but you don't want to let yourself down, that needs that space. And I really like the challenge that you're putting forward of saying, I'll get back to you. And even if it's a minute later or 2 minutes later, it just gives you that unexpected pause that you're talking about, and naming it differently